Hello sir, I'm Lim Shijie from section AF2 and today I will be presenting for ACC3218 Management Accounting Individual Assignment. In this presentation, I will talk about Roger's quarterly income and expenditure budget, cash flow budget, internal rate of returns, two financing methods they are available for Rogers with their strengths and weaknesses, and discuss about the factors that need to be considered in developing and managing budgets, and what is budgetary controls and its benefits and limitations. First, let me talk about Rogers' income and expenditure budget. The income and expenditure budget shows that Rogers' net profit increased every quarter from 40,200 in the first quarter to 50,835 in the fourth quarter of 2023. Next, the cash flow budget shows that Rogers' net cash flow has risen sharply from a deficit of 43,333 in the first quarter of 2023 to a surplus of 108,873 in the first quarter of 2024. In addition, I will show the two potential investments, which are Project B and Project C. As we can see, the Project B net cash flow fluctuates from quarter to quarter with the most notable deficit of 770,000 in the third quarter of 2023. On the other hand, Project C net cash flow increased from the first quarter of 2023 to the second quarter, but started to decline from the third quarter of 2023 and reached 25,000 in the first quarter of 2024. Based on these two cash flow budgets, Project B is more risky to Project C because there is a deficit in net cash flow, especially the most significant deficit of 770,000 in the third quarter of 2023. Based on the cash flow budget, we can calculate the net present value for both projects. We can clearly see that Project B has a larger negative NPV than Project C. So in this respect, Project C is more stable than Project B. However, Project B positive NPV is about 7 times more than Project C, which Roger can also consider Project B advantageous and potentially give him a return. Next, generally a positive IRR could be considered good because it means that cash flow received from the project is more than the initial investment amount. So in this case, we can clearly see that Project B IRR is more than Project C. Therefore, it is recommended that project invest in Project B. Then there are two financing methods for Rogers' investment in all projects. One is debt financing and the other is equity financing. When the business raises operating capital or capital expenditures by selling debt instruments to individual or institutional investors, this is known as debt financing. Debt financing is beneficial to Roger because the amount of interest he pays is tax deductible, which will effectively reduce his debt. Additionally, debt financing helps Roger make budgeting and financial planning easier. He will know at once how much principal and interest will be repaid each month. However, debt financing also has weaknesses. Roger needs to pass a good enough credit rating to qualify for financing. In addition, Roger will need to provide collateral to lenders to obtain funds, and he may also need to personally guarantee the loan, of which put his business assets at risk. Second, selling shares to raise money is the process of equity financing. Equity financing was great advice for Roger, but it was potentially conflicting. Roger will experience some strain and possibly even confrontation with his partners if there are differences in vision, managerial style, and company processes. He will also run the danger of ceding control of the business because sharing control is a requirement of equity funding. Despite all of its potential benefits, however, he can also learn and benefit from a knowledgeable or experienced partner, which with equity financing, Roger won't have such a big burden because he does not have to repay the loan. Next, there are 5 factors to be considered in developing and managing budgets. So the first factor is corporate goals. Budget must be in line with the objective, opportunities, and strategies of the organization. People can better understand the objectives of the budgeting process and what they must do to make things easier. Additionally, when making budget decisions, executives must take into account both the direct and indirect effects of capital and operation expenses. Therefore, Roger had to set a goal for his business. In addition, the second factor in the amount of funds available, business leaders need to be aware of the company's present financial status before creating a budget. For instance, executives should be aware of the size of stable and possibly more fluctuating revenue streams. Therefore, Roger must have a clear understanding of the amount of funds available to him before making a budget. Then the third factor is constraints. Constraints are those determinants that limit growth and hinders sales and production, whether it be scarcity of resources, lack of labor, or raw materials or fluctuating demand. These factors require a systematic analysis as they directly affect and can harm a company's planning and budgeting efforts. Therefore, Roger must analyze and prepare for these fluctuations as not to cause damage to the company. And the fourth factor is the appropriate budgeting method. There's currently more than one way to set a budget. All companies should research their own business models, needs, and other influencing factors, both inside and outside the company, to choose the most appropriate budgeting method. Roger is no exception because he must be responsible for his company. In the end, the fifth factor is project return. It is often justified that people give less money to fulfill plans or programs because resources are used for potential profit opportunities. Because of this, past information and outcomes have a significant influence on present budgetary decisions. To ascertain the possibility that a project will produce a good revenue stream, specific project objectives must be established, and the positive and negative features of the opportunities must be recognized and evaluated. Prior to then, budget dollars should not be allocated to the project. All project must consider the project's return before allocating a budget for the project. Now I will talk about budgetary control and its benefits and limitations. Budgetary control is a cost management method including the formulation of budgets, coordination of multiple departments, and allocation responsibilities, more practical performance and budget performance, and taking action based on the results to maximize profitability. Now let's talk about benefits. First, budgetary control prevents time and energy waste by assisting in the clarification of the goals and policies that the organization pursues in terms of operation and realities. Additionally, it helps to reduce uncertainty to minimum. Executives are forced to map out future course of action clearly. Secondly, through budgetary control effectively coordinate the performance and work of various activities. Budget for various functions are interrelated and interdependent. The effective implementation of the budget depends on the cooperation of relevant personnel in various departments. It forces them all to think as a group. Therefore, emphasis of coordination and cooperation helps achieve predetermined goals and objectives. Finally, budgetary control prevents waste as it conducts a search analysis of all expenditure items and checks them. In addition, it sets out the responsibilities of departments. They cannot shirk the blame when the budget figures are not met by clarifying accountability or for inefficient performance. Budgets help management identify weaknesses early and take remedial action. Furthermore, the first limitation lies in the prediction of an uncertain future. Forecasts may be inaccurate due to uncertain futures. Therefore, budgets based on inaccurate forecasts and estimates may not be accurate and effective. Second, coordination difficulties are also one of the limitations. The effective implementation of budget control requires the active participation and cooperation of employees at all levels preparation and implementation. However, in practice, organizations do not easily obtain such engagement and cooperation. Therefore, ineffective coordination can lead to inefficiencies. Finally, budgetary control set different goals for different departments. This caused departments had to selfishly consider achieving their state goals in order to obtain maximum funding, creating conflicts between different departments. These are some of the references used in this assignment. That's all of my presentation. Thank you.